Salam alaikum. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings be to all. Another day, guys. Another dollar making the donuts like always. Same old, same old. Beautiful day in the neighborhood here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 73 degrees at the moment. We're doing pretty good. I wanted to come in here today and speak a little bit on barriers. Having barriers between your Nkisi, your Mfumbe, your Muerto, your spirit, whichever way you understand it, and you go by understanding of what do you have and what do you use. And when I speak about having a barrier, I'm speaking about having an understanding between you and that Nganga, that Mfumbe, that Muerto, that spirit, having the understanding of limitations. And you would say, well, what do you mean limitations? Well, limitations as far as, see, when you have an Nganga, an Mfumbe, an Nkondi, whatever you have, right, there's been given to you or you have received that has a spiritual entity in it. There are things that you have to understand, and one of the main things is that Mfumbe, right, or whatever you have, could roam or come into your home, and it might be fine with you because maybe you have an agreement, an understanding that the spirit could come into your home because it's there to protect you also and your family, especially while you sleep and everything, but at the same time, if you don't have a certain understanding between you and that spirit, that same spirit could scare, someone else that has the ability to see and doesn't understand, and could create a harm to the person, especially if they're young children. Their children are very open. Children could see, spirits more than the majority of most humans, children's. Because you have to remember that a child is still is transitioning, is still connected more to the spiritual realm than actually the physical realm, and that happens to their conception period and all that. So they see more. Then there's people that have the ability to see and to feel and to hear. And if you have no boundaries, that means that spirit could come into your home. It could create havoc in the family, and the children, and the people that live with you, and you don't want that. So that's when I speak about creating boundaries, I mean those type of boundaries. You having an agreement and setting certain rules down, letting that Mfumbe, that Nganga, that Nkisi, that whatever, that if you come here, you only appear to me, to the Nganga, or the person who let's say owns that parchment or whatever, because if not, the Mfumbe is capable to, harm someone. And a lot of us, myself included, the Mfumbe or Mfumbes are introduced into the home. They're introduced into the home. And that's fine. But you have to have made it clear and have an agreement of what could it do and what could it not do, you know, as far as when it comes, you know, letting it, you know clearly, do not appear to my children, you know, do not appear to certain people in the house. Let me only have the ability to see you and to hear you and feel you, not only because that's what you want, only because you want to eliminate that situation of something like that happening. You know, you have a child, right? And he's been living with, you know, and sleeping in a room for an X amount of time or years, and he's been fine. And all of a sudden you bring a spirit in, and you then not set boundaries, well, that spirit could come and, you know, mess with your child. Maybe not in a sense of bothering it, it could, but also in a sense that your child sees it and gets scared, and then now the child doesn't want to sleep in that room no more. Now the child is afraid, you know. So then these are mistakes that we do, because we're not perfect. A lot of us do these mistakes because we at the moment or at the time, we're not thinking about that. You understand? And then when that does happen, then we gotta, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, if you're not gonna do this way, stay outside. You know, stay where you at. And this is why a lot of tatas, a lot of elders say you shouldn't have your ngangas and your things in your home. And it's not only because of that, because you can have this understanding that if you don't have no place to put it, and the only place to put it is in one of your rooms or in your basement or in a back room that's connected to you, then you have to do it because you don't have no other choice, right? But at least you let that or those spirits know what's the deal, what's tolerated, what's not. And you come into that agreement with it, right? But now we have a situation, right? Not only when you have an Mfumba in your home or a spirit in your home, let's say, or you have a spirit in a munanso, whether the munanso is small, big, it doesn't matter. You understand? Wherever you could work with your things at, that's what it is. A lot of us are not blessed to have a 12 by 12, a 16 by 16 high roof munanso, you know. Some of us only could have a 6 by 6, a 6 by 3, a 6 by 2, because that's what we have. And that's how we got to deal, depending of the situation, the circumstances that you live in. You might live close to people and door to door. Like here in Philly, we live like this, house to house. And a lot of us do have yards like I do. And I have a small shack in my yard where my things are at. But when I go out to my yard, the neighbor's there. The neighbor comes out, the neighbor goes in, the neighbor has cameras, you know. So you got these things, you know. We don't live in the wilderness. We don't live in the woods. We don't live in the country like a lot do. Some in Florida and other places in other states, they have this freedom to do things because there's not people that are right next door to you, you know. So you have to do what you got. Okay, let's stop there before I deviate, like always. The other problem with Nkisis and spirits, right, that you bond with, that you have made an agreement, a pacto or tratado or something, is that you have to set certain boundaries, because if not, let's say, right, your mother comes to your house and she's speaking between herself or mumbling or saying, maybe she's not telling you directly, but she's saying things about you. Not in a way to harm you, but in a way that maybe she dislikes the way you do this or the way you do that, and you know. And now those spirits, whether they're in your house or they're in that monanzo, if they are capable of coming in, they hearing this from your mom, from your aunt, from your sons, from your nephews, from your uncles, from your wife, from whoever. So if you don't set boundaries, what do you think could happen? That spirit is there for you. And you and that spirit are like this. That's like brother, sister, mother, father, friend, to death. Without you doing anything, that spirit could go out and do something to that person for speaking the way they spoke about you, or about your children, or about your wife, or about your home, the dislike that they have. And it could be something so minuscule that even if they tell you face to face, you're like, oh, mom, don't worry about it. Like, okay, mom, okay, dad, okay, uncle, whatever. But the spirits don't see it that way. The spirit sees it like a disrespect, a downplay on their friend, on their brother, on their, whatever the attachment that you have with your things. It's very, can I say, it's the more you get into it, and the more you are with your things, and you're, have more of a relationship with it, and the more you build upon it, the more and more you start getting a little more connected, a little bit more connected, a little bit more. You start understanding more. You and the spirit start being more easier to speak, not just without chamalongos, without insandis, without bones, without whatever. Just that relationship you start having with that infumbe or that spirit. So you have to be very careful, and you have to set boundaries. And a lot of people that I have seen do not do this. I know a lot of ganguleros and ganguleras, yes, they have in the munanso. And a lot do have in certain areas because they got wisdom, they know. But a lot of the new tatas, new yayas, and when I say new, I mean young in the tradition, just came in, couple of years, still are moving like me. I'm young, in other words. You understand? I started looking for Palo in my 30s, 32s, around there, 32, 33. From 30 to 33 is when I started getting into more in it. But you guys already heard my story. So I have lost a lot of time. But also in the Munanso is a very good practice for you if you have a Munanso and you have your Nkisis in there. Remember, the Munanso, your godchildren go. You go. Your wife and children go. People that come for help that you service go. It's a very good practice not only to have your Nkisis in a position, but also a barrier. I don't mean a big gate, 3-foot gate that nobody could see. No, I mean a barrier, something that prevents someone from just walking straight to your Nkisi, straight to your Ngangas. Meaning that, and it's not only because you don't want the person to overpass that boundary, that's one of them, but it also is a stipulation and an understanding that you're letting those spirits know that this placed here, this is where you guys are at spiritually. You understand? Putting something where someone could look at it and be like, oh, well, I shouldn't pass over that, because that's the spirit realm. And also giving that understanding to those spirits, you guys are on the other side. I'm here still in the flesh in this earth, but you guys are on the other side, the side that I can't see. So this is the spiritual. After this is the spiritual side. You understand? Like that, when people come, not only they might not understand why you got that. They might think you just have that there because it looks pretty or it's nice, or you just, you put in a barrier or something, but they do not understand what it's about. And really it's to signify that this is the spiritual side of those muertos. You could be in this mudanzo, and yes, the muertos are in the mudanzo too. But when it comes to the spiritual side, that's where they're at. You understand? So it's good to have a barrier like that also. Not that they cannot come out of the barrier, like I just said. They in the Munanso too, they could be in your home. But it was a good practice to give that understanding and to know that after that barrier, that's the spiritual side. When you're looking at your ngangas and you see what we call lindero, you say, no, they're in the spiritual realm. You understand? That's what it signifies. So, just a quick video, guys. Like I always say, always come with something short, something quick, something that might look so minuscule, might not mean much, but these are things that we have to have in mind and always remember, because we don't want these things to happen. Who wants for a family member to come in and say something displeasing to your wife or something, and those spirits that you have hear that, and they go out without you knowing and attack that person or do something? See, you have to have things in order. These things are serious. These are things to think about, and bring it to your elders if you want. Verify with them. Why? What should I do? What should I not do? Why should I, have this way or whatever? To each his own. I'm only speaking of my past experience and experience. So, have a great day. Be safe. Que ensamble la cutare. Que Kalunga la acompañe. And keep it up. Keep it up. Let's keep on moving. Give me a thumbs up for the algorithm. Leave a question, comment, whatever you like, whatever you please. Have a great day. Peace. And salam aleikum, malaikum salam. Briyumba mulemba.